A very good morning to all the students of class 5. My name is Prerna and I'm your English teacher. And today, from your English book Skyline, we are going to read chapter number 9. So, we all have some set of good habits and some set of bad habits. But there's one bad habit. If it is, if it starts building in us, it can, make us land into some or the other trouble. And you know what this habit is, what this bad habit is? This is being lazy, not willing to do the work when it is to be done, and being very lazy, being very, just wasting my time and sitting here and there and not really doing the work which is to be done. So chapter number 9 is about a man who was lazy, though he was liked by a lot of people. But how he being lazy, how did it become a problem for him? So here we go. So this is your chapter number 9, and the name of the chapter is Rip Van Winkle. So if you look at the introduction of the chapter, it says this story is about Rip Van Winkle, a good-natured but lazy man who goes away into the hills and falls asleep. When he awakens 20 years later, Rip finds that quite a few things have changed. To know what fate he meets, let us read the story. So imagine this man was so lazy that he slept for 20 long years. So let us start reading the story. Many years ago, at the foothills of Catskill Mountains was a little village. In the village lived a simple, good-natured fellow named Rip Van Winkle. He was a kind neighbor, ready to help everyone and anyone. Everyone in the village liked him. The children of the village shouted with joy whenever they saw him because he played with them. He taught them to fly kites and shoot marbles, and told them long stories. So as I told you, Rip Van Winkle was liked by everyone in the village because he helped everyone, and particularly with the children. He was very pally with the children. He used to mix up with the children really well. The only problem with Rip was that he was very lazy. He did no work on his own farm and just idled away his time. So he just wasted his time throughout the day. He never took care of his farm. His fences were falling to pieces. So the boundary of his farm, it is fenced, so it was now falling into pieces. His cow was going astray, so the cow was directionless. Weeds, that is the unwanted plants, weeds grew on his farm. Rip's constant companion was his dog named Wolf. So constant companion means who was always there with Rip. That was a dog named Wolf. To avoid work, he would walk away into the forest with his dog. One day, Rip just walked on and reached the highest part of the mountains. It was late in the afternoon when he reached there. Tired after his long climb, he lay down and began daydreaming. It was soon evening and he realized it would be night by the time he reached his village. Suddenly, he heard a voice calling out, "Rip Van Winkle! Rip Van Winkle!" He looked around and saw a short old man with thick hair and a grizzled beard walking towards him with a barrel. So you can see this short old man, he's carrying a barrel. So it's a cylindrical kind of shape made of it is made out of wood. So it's a wooden structure which is cylindrical in shape. So this short old man was calling for Rip Van Winkle. He had grizzled beard, means gray beard. He made signs to help him carry the barrel. Rip hurried to help the stranger, who caught his hand tightly. So you can see that Rip, though he was a very lazy person, but he was always willing to help anyone and everyone. Together they reached a place where there were some more odd looking men playing ninepins. They were all dressed in the same way, and all of them had beards of various shapes and colors. Even though they were playing a game, their faces were serious, and there was silence. The only sound was the noise of the balls, which echoed in the mountains like thunder. As Rip and his companion reached them, they stopped playing and stared at Rip with a fixed gaze. To gaze, I told you to me to continuously look at someone. So now these other odd-looking short men, who are wearing the same kind of dresses, but they had, beard of all shapes and colors and sizes. So they now all looked at Rip. Uh, they all started looking at Rip Van Winkle like this. That who is this man who's come to our area? Rip was really frightened. His companion emptied the contents of the barrel into glasses and made Rip drink it. So now Rip and the dog, they were so frightened that they immediately emptied the barrel and they wanted to drink it. Rip obeyed as he was trembling with fear, shivering, shaking with fear, since he was thirsty. So Rip was also very thirsty by now. Since Rip was thirsty, he drank a few more glasses and slowly fell into a deep sleep. So Rip was really tired because of the journey. So he drank a lot of glasses of whatever was there in the barrel and then he went off to sleep. On waking up, he found that he was at the place where he had first met the old man. He rubbed his eyes. It was a bright sunny morning. Surely I have not slept here all night, thought Rip. He looked around for Wolf. Who was Wolf? His constant companion. So he looked around for Wolf, but he was nowhere. Rip whistled for him. Wolf! Wolf! He then shouted. No dog was to be seen. Where has this dog gone? He muttered to himself. So now he whispered to himself. He began to descend the mountain to go back to his village. Descend means to come down. As he neared the village, he met a number of people, but he didn't know any of them. The villagers also stared at him, equally surprised. Who is this man? Said one. I have never seen him before, said another. Look at his long white beard and his wrinkled face. On hearing this, Rip stroked his chin, and to his astonishment, to his surprise, he found his beard had grown a foot long and it was all white. So if you look at Rip Van Winkle, so his beard had grown so long. An old woman walked up to him and looked at his face for a moment. Then she exclaimed, It is Rip Van Winkle! Welcome home again, old neighbor. Where have you been these 20 long years? So, wasn't this a very interesting story? That a man who was so lazy that he slept for 20 long years. And so what do you learn from this story? Of course, the most important thing that you learn from this story is to be never lazy and really take care of your things. So the job which is your a task or something that is your prime responsibility, you should take care of that. See, if Rip Van Winkle would have taken care of his farms, he would have never gone up mountain, and slept there for 20 years. So as a student, what is your prime responsibility? To take care of your books, to study on regular basis, and to ensure that whatever homework or classwork is given to you, you do that properly and that on time before you go off to sleep for 20 long years. So thank you so much.